I don't know if you guys have noticed this over the course of the show. You guys have a lot of power. You have a lot of power. I realized this recently. Like, some people are like, "Oh, don't heckle the comedian. You know, he'll get you or whatever." I'm like, "Don't heckle me because it could stick with me forever." It could change my entire self-image. That's the kind of power that you guys have. Like, I was in New York. My hair's, long and poofy. I'm kind of roasting a guy in the crowd, and then a lady in another part of the audience pipes up out of nowhere. She goes, "Damn, Princess Diana being mean." What the heck, Right? Sometimes you want a comedian to destroy a heckler with her. I was like, you nailed that. You win this time, Camilla. But don't be fooled. I am a man. I'm a man. I'm a cisgender straight man, which friggin' rocks. It's sick. I don't know if you know this about my identity. There are perks. There's perks. Like one thing I've noticed is a lot of women and queer folks tend to have these very specific dietary restrictions. You know what I mean? Celiac, lactose intolerance, oil sensitivities. Cis straight guys, we don't have those. We don't have those. It's incredible what our bodies are capable of. We don't, and it's like, instead we'll have years, decades of unexplained diarrhea, but that's probably nothing. That's probably nothing, and also shut up. That's an unspoken part of straight guy culture. I don't know if you know, but like straight guys all over the world on a regular basis are going into bathrooms and just having an absolute nightmare of a time. Just fighting for our lives in there. And then we come out, shut the door behind us, we're like, nothing is wrong with me. You know what I mean? Even now, some of you are laughing and some of you are actively holding in a shit. And there's probably somebody watching this right now on the toilet, and good luck in there. No, I'm not really like a guy's guy, though. I know that about myself, and I know that because multiple times in my life I've been in a group of men, and they're all greeting each other, right? The classic, "Bro, what's up, dude? How are you, man?" And they look at me and they go, "Hey, buddy." Oh, it's devastating, isn't it? Truly. It brings a strange energy out of me, too. Every time I get called buddy, I don't know if this is relatable, but truly every time I get called buddy, a little part of me wants to be like, "You're not my real dad." I would love to be upgraded from buddy to bro, right? That would feel affirming. And I think the dream for me one day is to be called my man. Right? You know what I mean? Out in public, some guy's like, "My man." I'm like, I think that reaction is probably what's keeping me down at buddy. I think I'm too desperate for attention, is what it is. I'm too desperate for attention. I love getting attention in the strangest of places. Like a few months ago, I was playing soccer. I got tripped. I landed on my shoulder, broke my collarbone, right? Very serious, like ruptured 3 ligaments. Serious, painful injury. I'm lying there on the soccer field. All my teammates crowd around me. My first thought is just, these boys are obsessed with me. I'm like, what the hell, Get to the hospital, bring the same energy to the hospital, I was on painkillers, and I started convincing myself that the doctor was flirting with me. But he was just describing my injury back to me, but I was drugged up. The way I heard it, he was like, "Well, obviously you're very tall. And you've got that bone structure. And you must have been going very fast. Because the combination of your height and speed, when your shoulder hit the ground, it didn't stand a chance." And I was like, this man wants to be inside of me. And he did. He had to do surgery. So it's an embarrassing injury, collarbone injury. It's embarrassing mostly because every time that I sneezed was so painful. Every time that I sneezed for about a month after, I had to stop myself from out loud moaning. And I don't have like a hot, sexy moan, you know? If you do, make some noise, you know? That's, no, but I know I don't have a hot, sexy moan because years ago, an ex, I asked her what I could do to improve in the bedroom, and she goes, you know the noises you make? Maybe like lower them an octave. Swear to God, that's what a woman I was in love with said to me. I remember I was like, for sure, definitely. And for years after that, I was kind of like Batman in the bedroom. That was, just get between the sheets, I'm like, where are they? But cut to me, they didn't tell me. Cut to me on the subway years later, they didn't tell me after the surgery about the moaning thing, about the painful sneezing. So I just felt a little tickle under my nose. Didn't think anything of it. You know, I was like, achoo, huh? And I wish you guys were there. I wish you guys were there, mostly because on that train car, dead silent. Packed train car, and I'm not even being completely honest with you guys because I always sneeze in threes, you know. So I was like, choo, huh, choo, huh, choo, huh, you know. Sounded like a guy who's allergic to orgasms. And it got to me. I did something I've never done before or since on that train car. I lost my mind for a moment. I started talking to the strangers around me. You know what I mean? I was like sneezing, moaning, and then immediately like, don't worry about that. Don't, that's normal that I did that. That's normal. And I looked completely insane because it was a couple days after the surgery. You know, I looked like kind of tired and gaunt, and I was in a sling, full Diana. A friend of mine told me that I looked like Diana if the accident wasn't that bad. And I already don't love that I was on transit. You know, I don't love that because I moved from Vancouver to Toronto a couple of years ago and I had a car and then it broke down, couldn't afford to fix it, right? So I had the very humbling experience of going from driving everywhere to taking transit. And you feel that come down. You notice it, especially in terms of the advertising that you see, you know? Because you drive around and all those billboards are like, watch a movie, treat yourself to dinner, invest in a condo. You know? Second I step onto the bus, we know you have an STI. It itches down there, doesn't it, you little rat? Also, there's mental health counseling for poor people, too. Yeah, so I'm on transit all the time. I moved from Vancouver to Toronto because I had a big breakup. I came out of it. I was like, I'm gonna be a new guy. I'm gonna be into stuff that I wasn't into before. I was in a pretty vanilla relationship, right? So I was like, maybe I'm into kinky stuff. Maybe I've been into kinky stuff the whole time, you know? Turns out, no. No. And I learned this because I was with a lady, and I was like, why don't you spice things up for me, you know? And then she spanked me. She goes, you're a bad boy. Which, you guys are pulling back on this one, eh? That was more quiet than the train car. That was crazy. I was like, spank, bad boy. You're all like, yeah. And then what? But no, spanking. I mean, this is essentially my body type right here. Spank, bad boy, you know, but I'm trying to be a good sport about it, you know, so I'm like, damn, I'm awful, you know. But this is how I know I wasn't into it, is internally the whole time that she was spanking me, I was like, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. I've been good all year. You guys like that one? You fucking like that one? That's the first time I've ever done that on stage. That is the joke I get heckled during the most. Few different types of heckles I've gotten. Sometimes people will go, praise kink. They'll say, praise kink, you have a praise kink. And I'm always like, is that a good thing? But I didn't know what a praise kink was first time someone said that to me. I looked it up. Praise kink essentially is when you get off on somebody being nice to you, which feels somehow more vanilla than no kink at all. You know what I mean? Somebody's like, Alistair, what gets you going? I'm like, kindness. Mutual respect. Another type of heckle, I was in Kelowna, British Columbia. I'm in the middle of the good boy joke. This lady in the front goes, moan again. Crazy. Third type of heckle I've gotten 3 separate times. 3 separate times I've gone, I'm a good boy. And out of the audience, I just hear, what the fuck? And I'm not gonna lie, I was ready for that one out of this audience. I was ready. I was worried it was gonna be you. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very glad. Weirdly enough, the collarbone thing made me very grateful to be Canadian. Maybe that's a weird transition, but it did, because I realized, I do stand up full time. I've been at it for about 1.5 years. I don't have any benefits. I'm all self-employed, and I realized if I had busted up my shoulder that bad, in the States, had to get surgery and everything, I would have had to prop a CEO. That's right. I think that's how the system works down there. Instead, I just had to go to this place called Service Ontario. Didn't pay a penny, just go into this government institution. I love going into places like that. I mean it, because I realize the people who work there are absolutely starved of humor. Right? They're lucky if someone comes in not annoyed with them. So I come in, no day job, I riff, I destroy. I do incredibly well. If you guys, you've been a wonderful audience. If you were all government bureaucrats, roof would be blown off his castle. But instead, I just riffed with this lady, and it went great, at the office, because I had to get my insurance renewed. I was born in Toronto, moved to Vancouver when I was 2. So she asked me, when did you move from Toronto to Vancouver? I said, 1997. She goes, do you remember the exact date? But I remembered not the date. I remembered this bizarre fact that my dad told me, which is that the day that we moved from Toronto to Vancouver is the day that Princess Diana died. Yeah, August 31st, 1997. But I didn't remember the date off the top of my head, so I was like, hey, could you Google when did Princess Diana die? And so we're kind of laughing, and she's looking it up and stuff. And then this is the cherry on top. As she's doing that, I go, I bet you're wondering, if she died back then, how come she's standing right in front of you? You've all been wonderful. Thank you so much.